Take me driving through the city tonight, still wet from the rain. You can hear it sigh. I watch you from the passenger side, breaking hearts and traffic lights. Over the bridge you will ride. It's shaped like an angel's harp or a wishbone, I can't decide. And the tires sigh as you take a ride, breaking hearts and traffic lights. Restless as always, you could never sit still. You took to the wheel, then you took to the hills, and I watch you from the passenger side, breaking hearts and traffic lights. Breaking hearts and traffic lights. Goodbye, Myrtle Street. Goodbye, Lady Lane. In the rear view mirror, in the summer rain, and the empty seat on the passenger side, breaking hearts and traffic lights. 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 Dark edge of the riverbank, I got down on my knees in the bony shadows of the naked sycamore trees, and with both my trembling hands I made a cup, and I stretched out my skinny arms to fill it up. As I watched the tiny whirlpools cross my palm, I cradled my own dark reflection in its starry crown, and the bright, sharp sickle moon hung high over my head. And I felt like the thirsty lost son come back from the dead. Trembling cup was full to the brim. I raised that trembling cup up to my chin, and with greedy gulps I drank it down with ease. In the bony shadows of the naked sycamore tree, in the bony shadows of the naked sycamore tree.
When is the song finished for you?
Some songs come mysteriously and very quickly, you know? I was talking about this with a friend yesterday, because I've been writing songs with other people and sometimes just lyrics and sending them away. It's a really lovely experience when it's like getting something in the post, like a parcel in the post. And they send me a recording of the song that I wrote the lyrics for, and they're singing and playing it. So I've been writing like that too. And I feel in those situations, when I'm just focusing on the words, I just know, I have a feeling, okay, that's it. That's there.
Yeah, I wanted to go to And So Goes the Night, because I was sitting in the control room. I listened to the song 4 years ago already, and while listening again this week, it struck me that the tension of the song was completely different when you play it live.
That's from the album Dark Eyed Messenger that I did with Thomas Bartlett. And I had never made an album like that before. Thomas said, how about you just come to New York, just bring yourself. I'd already sent him my home recordings of the songs, and he's a musical genius. You know, he just absorbed the songs. It was really actually quite amazing how he was able to keep the general silhouette of the song, I suppose. I'm not sure if that's the right way to put it, but he put all these other unusual shifts and turns in there. And for that song, he created this whole other musical take to it. And yet I didn't have to change anything in the way I sang it. Into the brightness of morning, I wonder and all of my feelings explode. Together I've married this city 1,000 times over, betrothed every doorway and bridge for my bride. And let me tell you about these shoes of mine. They're like the weariest nighttime story. A life map is there in the soles and the heels. I swear I still feel each footstep that they've ever made. And so goes the night, and so goes the night. There was a time when sleep came so easily. Her velvet arms caressed my sides, and that was when she came to me nightly. I still wait for her to close my eyes, and I wanted to tell you about these shoes of mine. They're like the weariest nighttime story. A life map is there in the soles and the heels. I swear I still feel each footstep that they've ever made. And so goes the night, and so goes the night, and so goes the night. This is a song about a bird. It's called Crow Song. Solitary crow with a cripple wing, you came at night to my doorstep. I rescued you from the storm, the Atlantic wind and rain, ripped from the blackness to rest in my hand. With gaping beak and blinking eye and all but spent, solitary crow, solitary crow. With a crippled wing. I put you in a cardboard apple box, not sure if you'd make it till morning. In the spare room I stood on the stone floor by the window and watched the lights across Galway Bay, guttering like lanterns, and the trees all bucking in the wind. Solitary crow with a crippled wing. In the coming weeks, I fed you treats, saved and gathered from the table in the tangled garden. Macaroni and cheese, baked Alaska, worms, moths, kidney beans, curly whirlies, all manner of things. To help you find your strength again. I'd find you waiting for me there on the makeshift perch in the grotto under the blackthorn tree. Solitary crow with a crippled wing. In the coming weeks I'd cross the tangled path with the treats ready in my little hand, past the injured rotary washing line, all crooked and askew from the prevailing wind, past the defunct swing ball pole, the broken down family saloon. I'd find you waiting for me. Solitary crow with a crippled wing. Then one day you were ready for flight. With clumsy beats you lunged skyward, a squawk of excitement, talons hanging low. Then over my head and over the fence and over the field of ferns, of lush green viridian, towards the others who watched from the telegraph wires. Then I lost sight of you, and you were gone. And I was joyous for you, but shattered nonetheless. Solitary crow with a crippled wing. It was late October the next time I saw you. I was walking along the top of the fence when I looked down and I saw the cluster of bones and black feathers that lay among the rusty bracken. Solitary crow with a crippled wing. And I looked to the sky. And I looked to the sky. And I looked to the sky.
If you read or perform crow song, I mean, it's not singing, but it's not reading as well.
Exactly.
It's more than that. How do
Yes.
you treat those lines?
It feels like singing to me, actually. I think that's how I first approached it. And I think I've begun recently to work a lot with spoken word pieces. In a way, I don't like to call it that because to me, spoken word is something else, but that is the closest I suppose I could call it. Recently, I collaborated with two string players and they asked me to write a story and record it for them, and they would put it to music. So I did, and it was spoken throughout. But they told me that they thought it was quite melodic, and it wasn't just a reading. But also, I think sometimes how someone speaks, there's little micro melodies in the way they talk, and accents and everything like that. And I love that feeling, and I love the feeling how a word can tremble in different ways, and how each word can have a taste. And in a story, I don't think there is any word that shouldn't be there. And you know, I approach that piece in that way. It's yeah, to me it's music, you know. Thanks so much. That's okay. Get in the right way. There we go.
Some people really have to work very hard for their voice, but you have a natural, clock-like, massive voice.
Well, that's wonderful to hear. I mean, sometimes I listen. I think back to when I was a kid, and I was I suppose too shy to sing in front of anybody. I would only sing when I was by myself, maybe walking along the seafront. I know that sounds very romantic, but that's the truth. And usually when there was a storm, so it was very loud. But I would never sing in front of people, and I wasn't even in school when they were doing auditions for a play, a musical. I didn't step forward because I was too shy. So I never really thought that I would actually sing in front of people. When I realized that I could, I'd already found my voice. It was a strange thing looking back on it. I do have to take care of. Well, I think everything shows up in your voice. So if you're unsettled about something, or if you're unwell in any way, I think it's going to show up there. But when it comes to singing, it's the one area where I do feel at ease. But even if I'm very affected and overcome emotionally, I'm still at ease with it. I found a halfway room in a seaside town. I'll stay here for a while. Through my window I can hear the ship bells ring, and I wake to the smell of the brine. The stray dogs here follow me around. They seem to know their kind. And I play the piano in a harbor bar. They pay me in bread and wine, bread and wine. It's taken me so long to write to you. Well, I just couldn't find a pen. And then there was the quest for writing paper, and it just went on from there. I have it in my mind to tell you more when the time is right. But meanwhile I'll be playing waltzes for bread and wine, for bread and wine. So how's life in the city of lost poets? Did they ever catch that thief who stole the relics of Saint Valentine, who says romance is beat? I can picture him running across the rooftops, laughing all the way. Who knows, maybe I'll bump into him here and I'll share my bread and wine, my bread and wine. Seaside town, I'll stay here for a while. Through my window I can hear the ship bells ring, and I wake to the smell of the brine. I play the piano in a harbor bar for bread and wine. I play the piano in a harbor bar for bread and wine. I'll be playing the piano in a harbor bar for bread and wine. And they pay me in bread and wine, bread and wine. The end. Hey, pleasure.